Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello and welcome to another question and answer video with me, Truthslayer. As always, if you have anything that you would like to ask or get my opinion on in the world of professional wrestling, please send it my way, and if I like your question, I will put it on here and answer it as best as I can. So I'll ask you leave it to one question per person. Please try to make it, so that it's not a question that I might be answering the whole video on. I'm just going to put some good stuff. That's all I ask. And other than that, let's get going. I am getting closer to the 1500th subscriber. As I said, when that happens, when I come on, whoever the 1500th subscriber is, that's who gets it. So there we go. Let's get started. Hogan is claiming he will make a new promotion that he is halfway through of collecting money. What do you think of this? This is not the first time Hogan has tried this. The first time he failed miserably. I'm afraid that this will probably do the same, because while I do agree that Hogan does have a good business mind for pro wrestling, he's not the greatest judge of talent, which anyone will tell you that. He's all you gotta do is look at WCW, look at what was it, WXF? Was that the name of it, or whatever it was that he did before, which wasn't the greatest thing in the world. So there you go. I would put a lot of merit in it. The fact that the Hogan Big Show thing, didn't do as good as they thought it was going to, should kind of show you that. So hey. Hey Truth, who was responsible for the Attitude Era? Some said that it was the Clique and Shawn Michaels having a meeting with Vince to discuss going in an edgier direction. However, most people would say the Montreal Screwjob was the catalyst and WrestleMania 14 was the official kickoff of the Attitude Era. Your thoughts? Actually, I think the catalyst was when they brought in ECW, or when it became very apparent that ECW was that they were aware of ECW, and that they kind of nudged that yes, what ECW is doing is what we should be doing. There's a lot of people that usually get the credit. Vince Russo being one. Shane McMahon is another guy that gets credit. Shawn Michaels and the Clique. The only thing I would say about that I've ever heard is that they did tell Vince that he did need to go in a different direction. But if you notice, none of this happened until after pretty much all the Clique was left, and most of the Clique had lost a lot of its political power. And then as soon as we got full Attitude Era, Shawn Michaels was pretty much gone through most of that. So there you go. So I would definitely, it was really a catalyst of things. If you want to get technical, I mean, you could say that the real power behind the Attitude Era was Paul Heyman, because all they were doing was pretty much stealing stuff from Paul Heyman. So there you go, and ECW. Do you think that part of the reason TNA hasn't gotten bigger is because of its manufactured look? Look at the old ECW days, for example. I think that the fact that they held shows in bingo halls and other rundown places gave their product a more grittier and dangerous feel, so it helped draw in fans. I think that TNA being taped in Universal Studios soundstage takes away from the authenticity of the product and gives it a very TV show type feel rather than a wrestling show type feel. I would agree with that. I would also say that it doesn't help that they're always taped in front of the same fans over and over again. ECW did this to an extent with always being, in the ECW arena for the most part, but they did, tape the shows at different places as well. But those fans, were, first of all, wanted to be there. And a lot of the Universal fans don't necessarily want to be there. I mean, people have always made the comments that you can see, Cena shirts and all that stuff at TNA shows. So, I definitely think that you're onto something. I definitely think if they ever get to the point where they can start doing Impact from other places, I think you'll definitely see that. And I definitely think that doing pay-per-views from other places has shown that, those fans are a lot more, vocal than what you see at the Impact Arena. And I also think that even if they just left Universal and went to one of the little Orlando arenas, around Orlando, I think they would have a much better crowd as well. So there you go. Were you where would you put Undertaker in the all-time WWE Legends list? I'd put him right up there with Hogan, Austin, and Rock, and at the very best, he might be as big his name as them, but I can't think of anyone who has done more for WWE over the last 17 years. And Taker, I would agree. I would definitely put him up there with Hogan. Definitely. I probably would put him over Austin and Rock simply due to the fact that he was around longer, and I do think he has done more and has kept, pretty much been a main eventer for a long, long time. And he's one of the guys that's been a main eventer for a long time, and no one really complains about it. And I think that says a lot too. Now that AJ Styles and Low Ki are established TNA stars, do you think Vince sees it, and is there a chance he will offer them a deal? Do you think they would take it? And would their abilities be watered down WWE? If I were them, I wouldn't take it. If WWE offered them a deal, I would definitely go to Japan or somewhere else. Maybe even work the indies and probably make just as much money as you can in TNA or on the low end of WWE. If you just want the paycheck, then definitely go to WWE. But they're definitely not going to let either of these guys do what they can do in the ring. And if they want to really do what they can do in the ring and become, big name stars, then I definitely would not go to WWE because that's not the place for them. Here's a question. Why do you keep coughing? This is the first time I've ever been asked this. People keep commenting that I do, but here's the reason. Before I got on here, I got pneumonia. For none of you that have never had pneumonia or don't know anyone that has had pneumonia, you cough for, as the doctor told me, for about 6 to 9 months afterwards because it does damage your lungs. That's why I cough. And if you've noticed, as time has gone on, I don't cough quite as much. So there you go. Hey, Truthslayer, do you think if TNA has their homegrown talent instead of bringing in new guys, that they will be better than what they are today? I definitely think they need to use more of their homegrown talent. If they're going to bring in WWE guys, then what they need to do is they need to use the WWE guys to put over their young guys, and that's not what they're doing, and I think that's why it doesn't work. And Joe and Angle is an excellent example of this, in my opinion. Hey, Truthslayer, could you possibly explain the slump that wrestling industry as a whole has been getting for a while, past few years, and how this all may have started? This has been bugging me for a while. Well, first of all, you had WCW go down, you had ECW go down within 6 months of each other, which only left the WWE, which wasn't a bad thing because the WWE actually did do good for about 2 years after that, putting on really good matches, giving us kind of what we wanted anyways. Then, as far as hardcore wrestling fans, and then you add that with the fact that you had kind of a slump in Lucha Libre in Mexico as well, which is now they're coming out of that. And then also in Japan, you had a huge slump because of what happened with All Japan and the Noah split, which hurt All Japan all to pieces. You basically had you had one powerful promotion that split into two and became two not even half as powerful as that one promotion was. And then you had New Japan, which which had kind of aftershocks of that split, and it became even weaker. And so all around, you just have a much weaker product around the world, and that's kind of why, like any business, you have peaks and valleys, and you have trends. And I definitely think we're coming out of that. You see both Noah, New Japan as well, seems to be gaining speed as well, and they're pretty much neck and neck in Japan, and they seem to have figured out a way to combat MMA in Japan, which has been their biggest problem. Also, All Japan looks like it's at least starting to pull off into, even though it's still a distant third, not quite as bad as it once was. AAA has its problems, but CMLL is very, very large and is doing very, very big business as a whole. And of course, you have the WWE, you have Ring of Honor, you have TNA now. Both of them are doing relatively well. I think within the next 3 years, I think we'll definitely see wrestling back on a world stage like it once was. If TNA is not allowing their talent to work in ROH, why is it that ROH sells TNA DVDs? Most likely for money, but ROH is currently financially stable, and not selling TNA DVDs would screw TNA over. I doubt TNA didn't ban ROH because precisely it gives them exposure. What do you think? Pretty much, here's why this is because they make money off of it. TNA would be stupid to not allow someone else to sell their stuff so that they can make money off of it. That's what it is, and ROH wants to make money off selling as much stuff as they can, so that's why that is. So pretty easy question. It's a good question though. I'm surprised I've never gotten it, but there you go. Other than that, that's all. Hope you all have a good one, and